snacks. Today I'm going to try making something I haven't made before. I'm going to try making some beef and pork spring rolls, and I'm going to make some sweet and sour sauce to go along with them. So we'll see how it turns out. Let's get started. I'm going to be using some canned pork that I did. I canned this meat in December. So I'm going to use this canned pork to make the pork ones. Let's see here, come on out of there. And this meat is already cooked. When I canned it, I followed the instructions that came with my pressure cooker, my canner, and it recommended partially cooking the meat before you put it in the jars. So I think what I did was, because this is, I think what I did was just saute it for a bit until it was partially done, and then I put it in the jars with the liquid and then put it in the canner. So I don't have to cook this meat first because it's already cooked for me during the canning process. So this is the pork, and I'm just going to shred it up. Okay, there we go. That's my shredded pork. Now the beef that I'm going to use, this was just a piece of ribeye steak that I had left over in the refrigerator. And what I did was I just pushed it through the food grinder to grind it up. So you could use, ground beef if you like, or whatever kind of beef you want to use, or you could use shredded beef. But since I had this leftover steak, I'm just going to use it for my beef spring rolls. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shred up some a little cabbage. I'm going to add a little cabbage to this. Now you could just have it all meat if you want to. Maybe with just some onion and some other seasonings maybe. It's up to you, but I'm gonna shred up a little cabbage and put in there, and also some onion. I'm just going to process this all together, the onion and the cabbage. And I'm going to be a little daring and put in some jalapeno pepper. I'm going to take the seeds out, and with the sweet and sour sauce, hopefully that will even it out. On second thought, I'm going to add some garlic. I love garlic anyway, and it should go well in these spring rolls. Okay. So I'm just going to fire up the food processor and get that all shredded. Wonderful. I love this thing. It's so fast. You know, I used to spend time chopping by hand, trying to chop really fine. Then I decided to get me a food processor, which has been, has saved me a ton of time. Now, I'm going to saute these vegetables just a tiny bit because the meat is already done, and it takes no time at all for these spring rolls to fry up. So I'm just going to add a little olive oil to the skillet. Heat that up. You know, you could put some carrots in there too, if you like. Kind of make it, I guess, like an egg roll. I'm going to try making them one time with just meat and onion and garlic. Maybe a little bell pepper or something. And see how that turns out. With just meat. I don't know if this is going to be too much cabbage or not. I want it to be more meat in the spring rolls. But we shall see. I didn't measure anything. I'm just going for it. I'm just going for it. Yep, I think that's good. That is good. So we're just gonna set this aside. Let it cool down a little bit. I'm going to be using these spring rolls. The spring roll pastry. It's Spring Home brand. I get these from, there's a Chinese and Asian store a few blocks away from me. where I buy these. If you can't find this brand, I'm sure any spring roll pastry will do. So I'll be using these. Okay, I have added some of the cabbage to the beef, the cabbage and onion and jalapeno pepper mix to the beef, and I'm going to start rolling up these spring rolls. Now, here are the spring rolls. And what you're supposed to do is keep a damp cloth over them so they won't dry out. So, let's get started. I'm just going to mix this up. I think that's just right. So if you're doing these yourself, you can, mix it up any way you want to. If you want lots of cabbage and just a little meat, that's up to you. So I've got that mixed up. And I've got me a little flour and water paste that I'm going to use to seal the spring roll pastry. Most recipes say to use an egg, to beat an egg up, but I use flour and water paste and it works just fine, and I can save myself an egg. Put one together. Now these spring roll pastries are the smaller size. I used a bigger size when I did my egg rolls. I made some homemade egg rolls a couple of weeks ago. And I used the bigger size for that. But you just fold it over like that. Bring it in like that. And then just roll it. I'm just going to take a little of that flour paste and seal it. That one's a little raggedy. Okay. As you can see, you just peel these off. They're really very thin. And you just peel them off. Put your damp cloth back over it. Keep the moisture in. Put your filling in. I think the bigger ones probably would have been better, but this is all I have now. See if we can make this one a little neater. There we go. Flour paste. And there we go. So I'm just going to do all of these. I may not as you can see, I'm not an expert at this, but it'll work. Okay, I've got all of the beef ones rolled up, and now I'm going to do the pork ones. I'm going to do a few of these pork ones with just the meat and see how that works. So I'll do a few with just the meat. And I tasted the meat, and it seems to be seasoned enough. So I'm just going to put plain old meat in here. So that's all of the ones with just the meat. And now I'm going to add some cabbage to the pork. Now you could also freeze these. If you don't want to cook them all. I saw where you could actually freeze them. And when you get ready to cook them, you cook them frozen. It might just take a minute or two longer because they're frozen. Because it doesn't work well if you let them thaw out. I did that with my egg rolls. I let them thaw out because I had frozen some. I didn't want to cook them all. And boy, they just fell apart. Because the filling for the egg rolls was a little moist. Because it had mushrooms and carrots in there. And they just fell apart and all of the filling spilled out. So if you freeze them, cook them frozen when you're ready to cook them. Or I also saw where you could cook them and freeze them. You know, they're cooked already. And I guess you could let them thaw out because they'll be, I'm sure they'll hold together much better than when they're raw. And you can put them in the oven or I guess an air fryer if you have an air fryer. I don't have an air fryer. And you know, get them to be crispy. So I think what I would do is freeze them raw, uncooked, and just cook them when they're frozen. Yes, this is the last of them. This is the pork with the cabbage and onions. Okay, before I fry the spring rolls, I'm going to get the sauce made. And the recipe for the sauce is 1 cup of canned pineapple juice, 3/4 cups of packed brown sugar, 1/3 cup of rice vinegar, 3 tablespoons of ketchup, and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. And we're supposed to bring that to a boil. So I'm going to pour in this cornstarch mix. And it says to simmer it for another minute. Until thicken. I can see it's already thickening up. Yeah, it's nice and thick now. Let me taste that. See what it tastes like. Not bad. Actually pretty good. Okay. My first time making sweet and sour sauce. I have discovered that you can just about make everything at home. I think that's good. And it says to let it cool completely. And you can store it in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 weeks. That's a lot of sauce too. Okay, we're just going to move that on out the way. Okay, I've got it going here. I used I normally use vegetable oil to fry, although what I've read late and heard lately is that vegetable oil is really not good. They're saying all seed oils are bad for you, so man, what is good for you? Everything is bad for you. But I'm out of it, and so I'm using olive oil. I'm using the kind that's for stir frying and sauteing. So hopefully that will be good. So we're just going to let these brown up. They don't take that long to brown and get crispy. That's why it's good to have all of the filling, everything is already done. So you're really just cooking the spring rolls, you know, getting them nice and crispy and brown. So that's about it. We'll go ahead and take them out. So here we are, y'all. My homemade beef and pork spring rolls. I'll let y'all know how they are.